Hey RVers, my name's Adam and this is my wife Celine, and today we're going to be talking about
how we picked our particular travel trailer and what we did with all the renovations.
Yeah, so before we get to that, we should talk a little bit about growing up. So growing up, I had never camped at all, and your family rented a motorhome a couple times, right?
Yeah, but we usually tented when we would go places. Yeah, we didn't really have much experience with travel trailers.
Right, so we were trying to figure out what kind of vehicle did we need to go full-time RVing. And we landed on travel trailer, so maybe talk a little bit about why we decided on a travel trailer.
We decided on a travel trailer because we really liked our vehicle that we are driving right now. It seats 8 people and our kids are comfortable in it. We have a lot of space for the 3 boys to spread out in the 2 rows of seats, so we decided that a trailer would work better because we could tow it behind our vehicle.
Yeah, and we chose a travel trailer instead of a 5th wheel because we didn't want our 3 boys together in the back row of a pickup truck. We wanted them to have the 3rd row. So in the back, they're always either 2 in 1 or 1 and 2 in some kind of combination in those back rows. So we had to have the SUV, and that meant that we went with a travel trailer. We did throw around the idea of getting a motorhome. So why did we decide against a motorhome?
Because we liked our vehicle. We had just bought it and we didn't want to have to sell it to replace it.
Yeah, we could have towed our vehicle, and also cost was a consideration. We wanted to pay specifically for our travel trailer cash. We didn't want to have a payment on a motorhome or something like that. And honestly, we didn't know what we were doing.
We really didn't look into many options. We just decided on travel trailer and stuck with that. And it was pretty quick in finding one online. We just did some searches and we looked for used. We wanted to get something old. We did discuss that. So we thought it would be great to get an old one and fix it up a bit.
Yeah, so specifically we had some specifics, some must-haves. One of our must-haves that made it a bit of a challenge was that we have 3 boys, so we wanted at least 3 bunks in our trailer. And so that really ruled out a lot of options because we didn't want 2 of them in a double. We wanted them all to have their own space. And,
yeah, we really didn't want to have to set up a bed at night or anything like that. We really wanted them all to feel like they had their own little space where they could keep all their stuff all the time, so that when we stopped to spend the nights places, their beds were all ready for them.
So that was a pretty specific thing that ruled out a lot of trailer options. And actually we found a trailer that had 4 bunks. So what do we do with the 4th one?
We decided to take it out and make it a little space underneath one of the top bunks. So we took out a bottom bunk, and then that made room for some more of the kids' toys and a little extra space for them to hang out.
Right. And then for our bed, we wanted to have a separate area. We didn't want just to have a full down bed in the middle of the living room, or to have to set up the futon or something like that every night. So we had some specifics in mind, and so we found the trailer that was going to suit exactly what we wanted.
It really needed to be lightweight because of our SUV being limited for weight restriction, and we found one that was old, which meant it could be fixed up, but it was also unique because the layout was a lot different than newer trailers, and it allowed it to only be 29 feet and have the weight limit that we needed.
Yeah, one of the things we really love about the trailer that we found is that it has a pocket door that closes the bunks away. So right now, actually, it's nighttime and our boys are asleep, and we can close the pocket door and we have the whole rest of the trailer, compared to some of the trailers that we looked at where there was a bunk in the corner where it was just behind a curtain or something.
Yeah, that wasn't going to work for us because we found the bunk room was always really close to the kitchen, and with just a curtain, there'd be no way we could have the lights on and make a lot of noise doing dishes and things around the trailer. So that was a really big thing. Then as soon as we saw the bedroom with the door, then we were sold on that.
Yeah, we didn't want to do much structurally to the whichever trailer we bought, but we were totally fine with cosmetics. So a couple of things we did, we replaced all the flooring in the trailer. We just overlaid with like the rubber vinyl. It's like put together stuff, except it's not laminate, it's rubber, so it doesn't absorb water. We replaced all the fabrics. They were pink color. We replaced them with a gray cover.
Yeah.
Painted all the cabinets and the walls. We didn't take out any cabinets. We didn't take out any walls. We just painted what was there.
We even took all the hardware off the cupboard doors and spray painted them all. And even the air conditioner unit on the ceiling, we've even painted over that. We just really wanted to freshen it all up and make it feel like a cozy home for us.
Yeah, so I think one of the, you could probably correct me if I'm wrong, I think one of the biggest cost savings that we did was, instead of replacing the hardware, was to take it off and spray paint it black.
Yeah, it was a lot cheaper, and it was easy since the holes were already drilled into the doors and that sizing was already there, so we didn't have to try to find anything else that fit our cupboards. So it lasts. It needs some touch-ups now, but it really made do for us, and it looks great, and it was a quick fix.
Yeah, and a couple other things we did. We bought some memory foam to go on top of the bunks, because at least for our oldest son, because his mattress wasn't very thick, and of course he's the oldest, so he's the biggest.
Yeah, we did that for us too with our bed mattress. We got a whole layer of memory foam to put on top of our foam mattress, because we have a small bed and it's a corner kind of cut bed. We can't even get a regular mattress at all, so we just kept the foam mattress that was with the trailer already, and then we just added a layer of memory foam on top.
And I think one of my favorite touches, at least, that was completely cosmetic, but we had some leftover flooring, and so what we did was we cut it the width of our bed and we put it above our bed, kind of like a headboard, and so it kind of ties all the colors together, and we didn't have anywhere to store that flooring anyway, so we would have just had to throw it out. But to me, that's one of my favorite touches.
Yeah, it was easy to mount right onto the wall, and it comes up above our pillows so you can see it, and it looks like it's a headboard. It was a good idea.
One of the cool things that we came up with is that we went to IKEA, and in the as-is section they had a piece of countertop, and we were actually able to get one that was wide enough to sit over top of our stove. So when we're not using the stove burners, this piece of countertop, which looks like butcher's block, kind of sits on top of those stove burners, and about, I don't know, what would you say, triples our countertop space. That piece of butcher block.
It can even go over top of our sink. Our trailer didn't have the original cover to cover the stove, so we really needed something to set on top of it and have that as usable space when we're not cooking. We also IKEA has a lot of other little accessories and things you can hang to the wall, so we did mount something above our stove to organize our utensils and wooden spoons and canisters and stuff, and we also put one in the kids area under the bunk, and it's a neat craft wall so they can have pens and things all on it's kind of like a tool board. It's pretty cool. You should check IKEA out for all the little details of little ways to organize.
So I think the thing that we splurged the most on, that I think was worthwhile,
the flooring,
was the vinyl flooring. And I'm not sure how many times we've dropped something, or we've got muddy shoes and one of the boys walks through and has muddy shoes on the floor, and if it was laminate, then that would just absorb, whereas the vinyl floor, it doesn't absorb at all, so we can wipe it up really quick, and it doesn't buckle or anything like that, because it's a rubbery kind of product.
Yeah, it really makes the whole feel of the trailer change as soon as you change the flooring. So I don't know how much extra weight we've added to the trailer, but it was really worth it. It definitely looks much better.
We had room to add a few pounds, and I'm glad we did. And then I think the biggest cost savings, I know we already talked about it, but I think it's those handles. Our trailer thankfully has all kinds of cupboards, but it also means that, I think there was something like 22 or 24 handles. If we were going to replace each of those at $6 each, that was going to be, a couple $100 versus what we bought, a couple cans of spray paint.
Yeah, it only took I think it only took one can, so it was worth it.
Yeah.
We even painted the countertop, and we did a fresh coat of paint in the bathroom with the tub and the sink. We found at a hardware store you can get actual bathtub paint, and it's spray, and it dries right over, and it looks just like you've refinished your tub, because it was an awful cream color and we wanted to change it to white. So that was a really good idea, then, to just swap out the whole tub. You can actually paint it.
Yeah, and then something we didn't realize that we should have checked way earlier in our journey was our trailer didn't come with a battery. Because I'm guessing the last guy had the battery, or just had the trailer sitting in a campground, right? So he didn't really need a a battery. He was always plugged into shore power. But also what we didn't realize till much later is that not having a battery meant that our emergency brake would not have come on if it was triggered on the trailer.
Yeah.
So, yeah, need to have a battery. Also, our propane tanks were expired. So here's a few things I probably would have looked at, or I probably would have considered differently if I'd even known to check. The first thing is I would have had the guy put some water in the holding tank and show us that the taps worked. And then we could look underneath and look at the gray water and black water tanks and see if they were or weren't leaking. And so, even a gallon of water, if you brought one with you, if you're looking at a used trailer, you pour it down the sink or you pour it down the toilet and look underneath and see if there's any drips. We had no idea to check for that.
They showed us the air conditioning was working.
Which was important.
Yeah, I don't know if they even turned the pump on and showed us that the pump worked. We were pretty clueless about how all that stuff even functioned, so we really didn't know what we were getting into.
No, it had enough bunks, and that was basically one of the major things we were looking for.
And it looked clean.
Yeah. And then the other thing is the propane tanks had expired. So had I known that, we probably would have negotiated that into the price, because 2 30-pound propane tanks was like $140 or something like this. But anyway, thankfully all that stuff worked. And so propane tanks we didn't know were expired, about $140. Battery we didn't know we needed, that's another $80. So there are some things I wish we'd known to look for. But all in all, I'm pretty glad with how the trailer turned out.
Yeah, I'm really happy with it.
So we're going to be looking for a new one, though, soon, because we're going to keep traveling. So now we know what to look for in our next trailer. We get asked often, like, what do you look for? How did you decide on your trailer? What's one thing that you would specifically change if you could?
I probably would have hoped that the whole plumbing would have worked a little bit better with our bathroom. We ran into a problem with our hot water not running properly in our bathroom, but overall the whole layout of the trailer I really love. I had thought about having a slide or changing that a little bit, because we don't have a slide in our current trailer. It's just solid, but the floor plan works out so well that it really doesn't even need a slide out to expand any of the spaces. So
one thing that I don't love, I will say that I love that the bunks are at the front and they have a pocket door, because then we have the whole trailer once the boys go to bed. One thing I don't love is the bathroom is actually beside our bed.
Right.
And so in the morning when the boys get up, the first thing they need to do is use the bathroom. So they're always like walking right past our area in order to use the bathroom. So they're always waking us up. So sleeping in doesn't really happen all that well. So I think in our next trailer, I would look for, maybe the master at the front and then the bunks in the bathroom toward the back.
Which is typically how a trailer is right now. The newer ones are built that way, but yeah, that is a downside.
So thanks for hanging out with us. If you like this video, like, subscribe, share this, leave a comment. We'd love to hear from you. And thank you so much for watching.
See you next time.